Hey,
Mr. Nick,
good to see you.
pleasure to see you, kind sir. How do you do this fine day?
I'm okay. I'm doing all right. You know, um, life is, the world is kind of crazy and messed up right now. But I can't complain about my own personal life. Knock
Yeah.
on wood. Yet, um, as we were talking about in the green room just before we came on, I've shared before in the past that I'm a federally employed I'm a federal employee. So yeah, so there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and for good reasons out there, especially with federal employees.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I feel very, on the one hand, maybe a false sense of security, being that I'm a nurse that works for the Veterans Affairs and serving veterans, and that's a clinical role. I'd find it just incredibly. I mean, it sounds like a landmine for anybody to step on, ending nurse employment in the VA. So it feels like that's a bit secure. But as I mentioned, I work with a lot of colleagues who are critical to the mission, serving veterans and making sure operations are running smoothly and safely and with the quality everybody, not just veterans, deserve. So there's a lot of fear about what proposed cuts may have. So my heart it aches for those who maybe have their sense of security threatened even more than I do. People that I work with closely. So um, yeah, I'm sending a whatever you do. I know there's a lot of people being impacted across the country. So anybody that tunes in after the fact or listens, send those positive vibes, prayers, whatever your method of um, sending that spirit and that well wishing to all these people.
Reiki.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sending you
right.
Reiki
Uh,
vibes, bro.
everybody in America can use some positive vibes, positive energy, some prayers. Go on their way if their livelihood or their quality of life is being threatened right now. So
The
yeah,
Trump administration meets the rubber meets the road.
yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, I don't know. I suppose it's a lot to take in at once for anybody. There's those of us that are more sensitive and have strong emotions and feelings about it than others, but I do hope that others kind of see the light sooner than later before we have just a gutting of you know economy, you know safety, everything, health. So yeah, but
I do too. It's
that's
already begun in a severe level.
it is
So,
yeah. And again, there's enough negative out there. It's really hard to not get caught up in consumption.
yeah.
I think we had talked about like taking some time off. There's some things that have truly incensed me to the point of having visceral physiological reactions to them. And that to me, just like I told my wife, like uh, I just I need to find a way to just focus in, think about my kids, my little circle, my life that's good, and sometimes tune out the negativity out there in the world, right?
Yeah.
So,
So I might be applying, or I have applied. I might be doing a part-time job.
oh well,
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't know if Social Security is going to end.
mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh, it's not a complete uh, monetary situation, but it's enough of one that if it's cut, that'll be very hard. So
yeah.
I have applied for. It's a massive application process. There's like
Hmm.
literally 13 steps you have to take
Wow.
for a part-time job. Not that won't make me rich, but it's to drive um, elderly and disabled
Okay.
patients from their homes to the doctor office.
Oh,
Hmm.
gotcha.
I'd like that work.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good,
So
helpful. Yeah. But yeah, that's a lot to jump through to do this kind of work.
It is. It is. I've got to
I,
pass.
I
I've
think
got like 10 of the steps are completed, but next up I have to pass a um, emissions test for
mm,
my car. So
they still
I
do
went in.
those. I thought they just required everybody to have a certain quality of vehicle that doesn't emit so much anymore, but or
Oh no,
a
you
certain
gotta
age
pass it at
that
least in
you
Wisconsin. So I went in
like
today to
how
do
is
that.
there an age on the car that you have to qualify for to be tested for emissions?
They, I don't know,
Hmm.
but my
Okay.
car's only 4 years old.
Right. That's what I think is odd. If it's a certain age, then it should be passable without question. I think in my state, if your car is a certain number of years old, manufactured before a certain time, and you have it or whatever, it's on the road, then you have to get emissions tested maybe every year or every other year when you register. I'm not sure, but
So I
um,
went in there today, and I said, and the guy says, "No, you got to leave." I said, "What?" He goes, our computer isn't working. Come back on Wednesday because we're closed tomorrow, but
oh,
call
funny.
on Wednesday before you come to make sure it's up."
Oh, geez, wow. Well, on the one hand, I do appreciate that there are programs, state levels that are concerned about the emissions
Yeah.
enough to keep that process going.
Well,
Uh,
absolutely. I
yeah,
support it fully.
yeah. But on the other hand, it's like okay, let's make the best use of this system and hone it in on vehicles which are considered high risk. I mean, I see some cars out there on the road there. I'm like, there's no way that would pass an emissions test. Riding behind them on for 2 miles on a main thoroughfare, ugh, sucking in that exhaust. Yeah,
All
but
right, I've got uh,
well, if you don't hold on, there's something I
hold on,
want to. I just want to draw attention to if we have a moment. Um,
please.
I mentioned just the negativity in the world, the fear, uncertainty, doubt. And my as a federal employee, you're talking about Social Security, getting a part-time job. I think the big thing, and we could probably talk this whole show about it, and maybe that's not the agenda, but what I will point out is we've talked about before is this idea of resiliency. Um, I talked about closing in and focusing on the positive in my small sphere, just to deal with the coping with everything. And you're talking about like, well, what happens to Social Security? And here's what I'm doing to prepare myself. And I think what that really is we're talking about the resiliency and the brilliance of so many wonderful Americans that in this time what we're doing to process. So I just want to draw attention to that for anybody that if anything they hear, it's really a beautiful thing. We're all in this, looking at different ways of protecting ourselves, protecting what we have and our family and each other. And so that's a beautiful thing. At the same time, it is scary. And I feel for everybody that has to resort to new methods of resiliency, but it's important that resiliency piece.
Let's keep talking about it.
Okay, yeah,
Let's keep talking about it. I do want to. Before we do, I want to do our two
okay,
housekeeping things,
okay.
which is plant update and
Oh
music. Is
yes, yes,
that
I
okay
love it.
with you? And then
That's
we'll go
that's
back
great,
to the resiliency.
great for me.
I've got the Timothy Snyder. Oh, I'm so sorry for what our federal employees
Oh,
are doing.
thank you,
Thank
thank
you,
you, Ketchup, Mary. Thank you, appreciate
Ketchup
it.
is about 20 feet from me right now as we speak,
Yeah.
through a pair of closed doors. Uh, so here is our soil update. Am I have this in the camera?
Yep, I see
Nothing,
it. Nothing yet. No
nothing
sprouts yet.
coming through.
And did we decide on what we have growing, or we were
Yes,
like, no, it's not a zinnia, it's a
exactly. I said zinnia on the air, and then when you and I were talking afterwards, I looked over
yeah.
and saw it. Oops, I made a mistake.
We've got impatience. Yeah. All
That's
right.
the flower that we should be able to see
Yeah.
uh, when it's done. They say it's Good for the pollinators.
That's right.
Pollinator
Cool.
friendly. All natural
So
mixture.
we're how many weeks in are we on
Two.
the cultivation
Or
here?
oh, is
We
it
planted
four?
it 2 weeks ago, or was that the first watering of it, or was it 4 weeks?
Yes. I yeah. I don't
I
know. I
know it
think
all.
I think
Oh,
4 weeks
okay.
ago I said, this is what we're gonna do, and I had the soil out. But I think 2 weeks ago we actually put it in.
All right, cool.
I had put it in the day before.
So we're 2 weeks in. We got a watering regimen. I'm glad I can entrust this to you and not me. My wife waters all of our house plants, but that's her. She's into it. So
She
yeah.
does it. That's beautiful. Well, and I overdid it last time. I put too
Oh,
much water in it. It was sitting in a puddle for a couple of days. I hope it didn't kill
okay. Well, I mean, they're just getting started off. So
him. Yeah.
all right, cool.
So that's that. It's we'll see. I think of it as kind of symbolic, putting seeds of resilience in the soil.
Yeah, absolutely. It's right there. Yep.
Absolutely.
We gotta nurture ourselves, nurture our little flowers, nurture each other. Yeah, absolutely.
100%. And then secondly, I have a song.
Okay.
And this song is very, very apt for what you and I are just talking about with resilience. It's
Okay.
called Wide River to Cross.
Wide river to cross.
I
Okay.
said last about the last song. It was written by Buddy Miller, but I have a Buddy Miller was what they used to call alt country, the
Okay.
alternative country musicians, the people who are real literate um, singer songwriters. But the
Okay.
version I have is Levon Helm.
Okay. That's what came up when I Googled. I got Levon Helm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, he was the drummer of The Band, which was my favorite rock band of all time. The story about Levon is he was playing in Northampton, Massachusetts when I was living out there. I went
Okay.
out there, 8 o'clock show. This is before cell phones, before texting. Um, and I get there with my two buddies, and
Yeah.
Levon takes the stage at 11. And I'm
Okay.
married at the time. I can't exactly text Carrie and say, "Hey, the show's just starting. It's 11." So he plays till 3 in the morning.
Oh my goodness. Holy
Yes.
smokes.
During which time I got somewhat inebriated. I did overserve it. I did stop at about 1 in the morning, stop drinking.
Uh-huh.
So, and I bought a beer for Levon and put it on his drum kit because it was just a bar. And he
Yeah.
pointed his stick at me, which was like, the one of the greatest moments of my life, top 20.
Nice. Thanks
And
for the beer, man.
huh? What did you say?
Thanks for the beer, man. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we went out and crashed in the car for another hour. So
Okay.
we left Northampton, which is on the far west side of Massachusetts, at 4 in the morning.
Oh wow.
Got home at 5:30, and neither uh, of my two friends nor I were in very good stead for a while
Ah.
with the women in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We had to dig out of it.
Yeah, I bet. I
Yeah,
bet.
but Levon, I keep. He's now dead, but I kept a close ear to whatever he would do musically
Hmm.
after the band broke up. And he died, but he left this song which I used in uh, group grieving memorial services,
Oh, okay.
and people were always deeply touched by it.
Okay.
And they're like, "Oh, that's so soulful. That's so beautiful."
Hmm.
And it's keep going in comp. What have we done so far? We shall overcome.
Yeah.
Change is going to come, and if I can help somebody, this kind of
Hmm.
goes in that line.
If I
In the
if
sense,
I might take just a moment, did I not hear that in the following session after the congressional speech in Congress that they did, there was some folks singing "We Shall Overcome."
Oh, was there?
Yeah,
I didn't hear that. That's
I
marvelous.
think in the next session that they held when Trump wasn't speaking to Congress, that there was members of our Congress that were singing "We Shall Overcome." Um, I'll research that. Uh, but I thought I saw something to the effect of that.
Marvelous. They
Yeah,
heard it on the Brambled path.
they probably did. They're like, you know what, we got to do this. Yeah. So House Democrats saying "We shall overcome" in the well of the chamber after Representative Al Green was censured. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So in the following session, when they censured Al Green, the members of the Democratic Party saying "We shall overcome." Yeah. So love it.
I love it too. Beautiful. That's resilience.
Heck yeah. And
Heck yeah.
it's, you know, nonviolent nonviolent protest. I mean, yeah,
And poignant.
very much so. Very much so.
Okay. Okay, you ready for a song?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Wide River to Cross. I got to make sure the volume's right and the you'll give me a thumb up or thumb down
Okay.
when the music starts. Can you hear it well enough?
I can hear it.
There's a sorrow
Good.
in the wind going down the road I've been. I can hear it cry while shadows steal the sun. But I cannot look back now. I've come too far to turn around. And there's still a race ahead that I must run. I'm only halfway home. I've got to journey on to where I'll find the thing I've lost. I've come a long, long road, but still I've got some miles to go. I've got a wide river to cross. I have stumbled, I have strayed. You can trace the tracks I've made, all across the memories my heart recalls. But I'm still a refugee. Won't you say a prayer for me? 'Cause sometimes even the strongest soldier falls. I'm only halfway home. I've got to journey on to where I'll find the thing I've lost. I've come a long, long road, but still I've got some miles to go. I've got a wider river to cross. it wide, a wide river to cross. I got a wide river to cross. You always give me on point feedback.
Um, yeah, that was very,
That was great.
yeah, very, very moving. I just, I think, and I've talked about this recently with some folks. Like, we all come into whatever this time for us in society is, with existing, you know baggage and troubles and challenges. And when we have these times, these moments of fear and uncertainty and worry, um it really surfaces some of that hardship, or those things that we tend to build walls around and try to suppress. And so, what moved me about that was just the human experience of it all, with regards to, even the strongest soldier. I mean, we do our best, and we fight on. We, put on the best foot forward for work, for our families, for our friends, for our communities. And yet we all bring something along with us that weighs on us. And so, just the humanity of it. Something that, as I listened to the words, it reminded me of. And again, I like poetry. I don't remember or recall a lot of it. I hear things and it moves me. It touches me. I'm terrible with names and recollection of stuff. As far as that encyclopedia type knowledge, but this one I do remember because I recited it, and it was one of my favorite poems back in high school and college. Short and sweet. Robert Frost, stopping by woods on a snowy evening. I don't know if you, I mean, it
We
along
all know it.
yeah, along the same lines of this song, like one of his most famous, and miles to go before I sleep. So, um,
Beautiful.
yeah, that
He
really,
took the road. He took the road less
yeah,
gone, turned by, and that has made all the difference.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Oh no, I
just,
think that's a different poem.
it, I think yeah, that's similar. There's another, that's one of the others, but yeah,
Yeah.
stopping by woods. I mean, just and I remember, I think I did memorize it back in the day, but I don't remember it now. Um, but yeah, it, it's, as tempting as it is to just kind of hang in the calm and the quiet of the dark woods on the snowy evening, with the horse that's, struggling to finish on to, yet there's miles to go before I sleep. So, um, yeah. So
Beautiful.
that's kind of, as I listened to, Wide River to Cross, it has that same sort of, yeah,
Yeah, I hear
imagery,
what you
feeling.
mean.
Yeah.
Miles to go before sleep. Wide river to cross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
work isn't done.
Right.
It's hard, but, you know, and,
So
and,
so
and that
you
fits with what we were talking about with this resiliency. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
So how are you staying resilient? You said a little bit. You're carving out your niche where you're comfortable.
yeah, um, I don't know. Well, this is going to be really candid, um, and vulnerable.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know
You're
that
safe.
I am. I don't know that I am resilient yet.
Hmm.
I think I'm realizing I need to work on that,
Yeah.
because I'm feeling, 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 I'm fee I'm feeling like there's a deconstruction or demolition of feelings and emotions that will have to happen before I can remodel in all of this.
That's
Like,
amazing.
yeah,
That's amazing. Deconstruction of things that have to be
yeah,
demolished, so that they can so that you can rebuild afterwards.
yeah, or remodel.
Remodel,
like
yeah.
like right now, this kitchen of my heart, of my soul, is, it's got some, it needs a little more feng shui and an open floor concept. And I can't seem to do it with what I've got. So I gotta deconstruct it a little bit or demo a few things. And that feels scary and vulnerable.
Oh wow, that's really big. Do you want to say anything more? That's already pretty much.
Um, that's pretty much. I
Yeah,
might get teary over it.
yeah. I can tell it's getting emotional for you. That's so you've gotten there close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's big stuff.
But it's important.
Yeah. Sounds like the
It's part of the
potential.
resiliency. It's part of, and I think what do we do? We find hope in art, like we're doing here, song, poetry, um, and just focusing on those beautiful things and gifts that we have already in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have three things. One is the comfort. Mary's listening, but the comfort of waking up next to Mary and
Oh
of
yeah.
texting my daughters and hearing their voices as I get texts back. But Mary's a very hilarious person, um, and to wake up and be laughing within minutes of waking up
Yeah.
is marvelous. It's marvelous, and we have four cats. And
Well,
if you,
yeah, and you're fostering cats too.
we've adopted all of the ones that we had in the house. There's the legendary Stargell.
Stargell.
Yeah,
Oh gosh.
he's fast asleep.
Be When life gets tough, just be a cat, man. Just
Exactly.
yeah, be a cat.
That's so true. But to wake
Gosh.
up and have Mary's soft, funny voice next to me is marvelous.
Hmm.
Um, uh, Very sustaining.
Yeah.
Um, and my daughters are wonderful. We have a lot of love. So that and the four cats. You
Yeah.
know, family life. Family life is what
Yeah.
it comes down to. Um, One, and then two, I'm meditating.
Yeah.
It's the best meditation period of my life.
Oh.
I A couple of years ago, I said, okay, I really need to start meditating very seriously, like a serious meditator,
Yeah.
not a dilettante. So I meditated for 245 hours that year. It would have
Wow.
been more, but I had a near fatal heart attack and a uh, sciatica,
Oh,
both of which cut into my hours.
I bet.
But then the next year, I did 336. That was last year,
Good.
and this year I'm
Wow.
on pace to about 400. I've
Wow.
missed I've missed one day so far this year. I'm over. I'm averaging more than an hour a day.
My gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah, and what it is it's now that I've done it enough and I've sort of broken myself in. I've gotten to the point where um, I'm so dependent on. Maybe that's not doesn't sound too good, but I'm so used to. sitting down in the evening and dropping all the shit of the day for an
Yeah,
hour
that's
and
good.
just really going into a true. I mean, I've actually achieved Satori, they call it, not Satori, Shamatha, where it's
Shamatha.
you're truly focused on breathing and focused on being present and
Mm-hmm.
not thinking about Trump or frustration or the Trump MAGA cult or
Right.
the predatory stuff. Um, but I'm
Yeah,
actually in that zone.
that's good.
Yeah. Oh, it
That
just
sounds amazing. Yeah.
it's really I was a half-ass meditator for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
25 years, 1994 or 5 until 2 years ago.
Wow.
More than 25 years. Yeah, half hour a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Half hour. That's half-ass. I don't mean to be so harsh, but just as my own self-assessment.
Well, yeah, yeah. You're. It's the standard which you want to
Yeah.
uphold. It doesn't mean that's everybody's. Like everybody who's not doing an hour of meditation a day is half-assing it. But it's
Right.
for you. It's your.
Yeah.
There's people who probably are like, I'm giving it. I'm killing it, and I do 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Well, it's like, what are the true adept meditators doing?
Mm-hmm.
And they're 45 minutes a day.
Oh.
Um, so anyway, and then the third thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Mary and family,
Yeah.
and Mary's tenderness and her humor,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the meditation, and then there's the third thing is weightlifting. Oddly enough,
Oh. Okay.
and and I used to do it, and I stopped, and by weightlifting, it's a little grandiose because it's just a pair of 15-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
Um, it will graduate to 20, uh,
Yeah,
but
that's good.
yeah, 45 minutes every other day. And the thing about it is, there's like a psychological, it's definitely psychological in the sense of I'm strong to meet this situation,
Oh yeah. Okay.
you know? And I'm
Yeah.
sit down and I write a letter to the White House.
Uh-huh.
I've done two of those, or
Mm-hmm.
I make a phone call to the senators and the
Right.
congressmen. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I can be courageous and bold. Why? Because I'm strong.
Yeah.
And there's other ways to being strong other than physical,
Mm.
but it helps my own personal psychology,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
yeah, and I think there's a sense of y- there's I mean it's all full of you're controlling what is in your area to control and influence in a way, Um yeah, I mean yeah, there's just the physical part of it, but like and what it reminds me of is it's sort of the replacement for that sort of human experience of hunt and gather, chop wood, carry water, you know, um, and instead of you know literally doing those things, you're you're weightlifting and doing this movement and this experience that's strengthening you literally is kind of like it adds to that little bit of a purpose of like that you're it's the modern day version of the retiree chopping wood um you know
Yeah.
so it's I mean boy we could take this metaphor a ways but um uh it's and that's kindling, it's for the fire in you, the
Oh
strength.
my goodness,
Oh,
you're
so,
getting there, brother. Come on now.
so yeah, I think that's really cool. And I think that once you draw those kind of parallels, you just realize how meaningful something is, and worth integrating into your life and your practice. And it sounds like you found that in those things.
Yeah. Before this show, I went on a 35-minute walk. You
Yeah, I went
know,
for a walk today too. Yeah.
you did too?
Hmm. Yep. I went for a walk.
Just to have that blood flowing in you, so nice, isn't it?
Yeah. And actually, I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but I actually, part of mentally preparing for this is I go for a walk every Monday before our show. Yeah.
There you go.
I should probably do it more to prepare and mentally and just, but yeah, when I do, I enjoy it. And, I think it allows me to be more receptive and open to our dialogues here. And, so
That's
yeah,
marvelous.
yeah.
That's marvelous. Okay. So if anybody that's listening, we have three listeners right now.
Oh yeah.
I know Mary's one of them. The other two, I suspect possibly Corey. Don't know who the third might be. I know I have a friend named Pat here in Milwaukee who listens
He
sometimes.
tunes in. Okay.
Wants to share how they stand resilient.
Yeah.
You're invited to.
Yeah.
If you are. We all have a ways to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there a, oh, I was curious if there's a way to put a poll out there, but we'll just post it. Oh, helps if I spell correctly. Cool.
What'd
Well,
you write?
oh, I just put the question out there. It should post up here. I just asked, how are you all? How do you all stay resilient in times of uncertainty?
Very good.
Go.
Oh, we heard from somebody. Oh, that's you.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what I put out there. But yeah, I think that's it's a really important topic. You know what I was. Uh, Here's something that's cool. And I want to mention it because I mentioned earlier about federal employment and being a government employee and fear, uncertainty, worry, all that. Um, our and you'll like this. Our chaplain um, in our organization does like kind of I think it's weekly right now. Does a town hall sort of session that is resiliency, and it's to all staff, all employees. It's on Teams, so anybody can tune in. But I believe it's on Wednesdays for about a 30-minute block near lunch times. And yeah, it's a talk about resiliency and what can people do? How do we cope with times that are uncertain, and some tools and just a place for people to express their feelings about things. And it's safe. And, it's awesome. I mean, someone in our organization is recognizing that people are struggling, and, we're still in it together, even though we've got mandates to follow underneath executive orders and, leaders in the organization who probably comply out of fear of losing their job. But like, there's people doing good, positive things to try to support one another. But yeah. So yeah, if anybody out there, yeah, waking up screaming from nightmares of male aggression and violence. Yeah, that's scary.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that's something when I talked about the things we carry in life with us that weigh on us, and then times like this that surface where you get bullying, you get authoritarianism, just people with power complexes, and it can make other things that we carry with us surface even more. Um, I think I mentioned I had a visceral feeling and reaction to watching a woman get physically hauled out of a Republican town hall at a high
No,
school. Yeah,
in Idaho.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
just 30 miles away from me, and
that's 30 miles from where you live right now.
yeah, that happened 30 miles away from me.
Oh,
Yeah, and you know, the MC at that event, he's actually a narrator, voiceover person, and because I'm part of some other communities in that social media where I follow, they blacklisted him because of the way he was mocking, ridiculing, and berating her publicly in that town hall while being, you know, assaulted essentially by not law enforcement, but under their direction. Um, I had a very visceral reaction to that of just feeling outraged and want like visualizing myself if I was there, you know, being standing in between her and, you know,
right,
potentially being physically assaulted myself or fighting
right.
in a very physical way. It enraged me and it was really uncomfortable feeling. I was telling my wife about it. So yeah,
I'm very happy to hear that he was blacklisted.
yeah. He's narrated some books, and I follow the author, fantasy author, who basically said, yeah, I'm cutting my contracts. I'm removing the audiobooks that he has on Audible that I'm working on legally getting him off my partnership. So I'm no longer associated with this guy because I can't support this. So I really, you know, I applaud people who are standing up for people where injustice is occurring. So it's hard, and it's hard to do. I feel like there's just so much effort to be putting out to silence that. You know, look at Columbia University with the protesting, and they're talking about taking their funding because they allowed
Yes,
Palestinian protests, and yeah, so
it's unbelievable.
a lot of effort to silence people. I can't believe it, but
So here's uh, I'm going to go to Timothy Snyder,
yes, please,
the book, uh,
yes,
just because it segues.
perfect.
There's 20 points. I'm not going to try to get all 20, but I
Mm-hmm.
like number 8. It seems to be my favorite one of the 20. Stand out. Someone has to. When you do, the spell of the status quo is broken, and others will follow. I'll read it again. Stand out. Someone has to. When you do, the spell of the status quo is broken, and others will follow. So when I think of that, I think of um, I'm going to my high school reunion is this summer. I'm not going to go to it. I'm not going to say what year it is either. It's a high number.
Okay.
Um, but let's just put it this way: I'm 67, so do the math.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm going to put down in my refusal letter. Um, do you want to have any message to your class? I'm going to say resist the rising tide of Nazis in America. That's
Oh
going to be
yeah.
my message to the class,
Yeah.
um, which will
You
be not well received by some.
can
But
you
a T-shirt.
read number 8 for me one more time? Stand out.
Okay, stand out. Someone has to. When you do, the spell of the status quo is broken, and others will follow.
I like it. Okay. I just want to put that in our chat from a quoting standpoint as well as to have it available to people. So I did share Timothy Snyder's book here for our folks on his personal website. So that's
Yeah.
available in our chat if anybody wants to follow and check out his work. Um,
There it is. Beautiful.
There we go. Yeah. Um, and,
It invites me to think about creativity.
yeah. And yeah. And what ways can we stand out? That's
Yeah.
yeah.
The State of the Union. Did you watch it?
No.
I did. I watched it. I could last 15 minutes, and then
Or
I
was are we calling it a state? I don't even. There's some controversy over whether it's a State of the Union. People are saying that, but um, address to Congress, maybe. I don't remember if that.
yeah, because it isn't called the State of the Union when it's the first year of the
Oh,
yeah.
got it. Okay, there we
For
go. That's
I never knew that before, but
I didn't
anyway,
either. Yeah,
it was a
thanks for
long speech. I survived 15 minutes. The lying was unspeakable. The Democrats showed up with auction cards. Like you hold
right.
the sign up.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
see pictures of it?
I saw that. Yeah, as far as watching and listening to him speak, the whole thing. No, I didn't do that. No.
It was very hard. I,
Yeah,
I lasted 15. But I liked it. I liked the fact that they were trying something, but it didn't seem to meet the moment with enough gravitas. I don't know.
yeah.
But Al Green,
Uh huh.
um, him doing that, some people, including James Carville, the pundit, thought that it was Bush League.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of liked it when I was watching it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it evoked for me just the compelling necessity to speak out boldly.
Right. Yeah.
You know, um, I do on my Facebook page, but um, it's just Facebook. It's like Mickey
Right.
Mouse.
Yeah.
Um, so to me, the big thing is to speak out compellingly to the senators, my two senators, and my congressperson. And I do two other Congress people, both in the state of Wisconsin. So I have five people.
Mm-hmm.
I've also contacted Hakeem Jeffries,
Okay.
um, and try to do a truly compelling and original message.
Mm.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you've heard on the Ides of March, March 15th. That's in 5 days.
Yeah.
People are going to send a protest thing is going to send 15. They're going to send the 15th. They're going to send postcards to the White House telling Trump that he's fired. So you're invited, and our viewers are invited to do that if they're
It's March.
yes, March
You're fired.
15th or whatever you want to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to say you're a waste, a fraud, and an abuser because he talks about waste, fraud, and abuse.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a annual refresher training I have to do as a government employee is fraud, waste, and abuse. It's a required training every government employee has to go through, and reporting it, knowing how to whistle blow and call it out. And it's like, okay, so you know, millions of government employees all have to go through this, and now you're going to quote it as though this is what you're doing, and all these millions of employees haven't been doing it. Yeah,
That's
it's not a
profound.
novel and new thing that he's all of a sudden doing. It's every government employee's responsibility to report fraud, waste, and abuse. Yeah. Ugh, yeah.
So
Anyway.
yeah,
Uh,
I think I'm going to order a T-shirt. It's
yeah.
going to be. I saw it online this morning. It's Smokey the Bear,
Okay.
and he's got his fist in the air, and it says "resist" behind him.
I like that. Yeah, I like Smokey the Bear. That's a really good imagery for me.
Yeah, wear
Um,
that out. Wear that out in public a lot.
so my 11 almost 12-year-old daughter, she's a sixth grader, she had to write a I mean this is impacting so many, and I think it's amazing when I look at like what kids are doing right now, and despite what their community or family influences are. So my daughter English class, they had to do their first argumentative essay or writing, and so they got to pick a topic. Well, she picked women's rights. I'm like,
Yes. Amen.
come on, you're 11 years old, but hey, bless your heart, I love it. And so she did her best. I mean, she's a sixth grader trying to work on writing an argumentative essay, and I just, she chose a strong topic, and I'm like, hey, you go, girl. So she did her best, and it was good. I was very proud of her. And I came across this thing. It was somehow, I don't know, some store or whatever, and it was a shirt, and I saw it and it made me think of her. And it said, the Cyndi Lauper song, "Girls just want to have fun," but at the end of fun, it said fundamental human rights.
Yes.
And so she's like, "Dad, I want that. I want that." I'm like, "All right, I'll get you that. Like, heck yeah, I'll get you that shirt."
Beautiful.
It's an Etsy thing, so I had to order it. But
I've
um,
seen that. I've seen that
yeah,
like a sign in a protest.
yeah, girls just want to have fundamental rights. I love it. I was like, you know what, you go, girl, and you know what, be the change. If I can't do anything, but you and your circle of friends who come from all walks of life and conservative families, Trump families, liberal whatever, like you guys are all a new collective, new generation. Go forth and conquer, because I don't know if we're going to fix anything in our generation.
Right.
So, but that's part of the resiliency, is just to look at these my kids, and they're shaping worldviews that are not just me trying to. I'm not brainstorming or trying to do anything, push anything. They're sort of developing it in their little networks, and it's powerful. Yeah,
That's
and
beautiful.
you have grandkids, so I'm sure you start to see some of that with them. I forget the ages, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, 18, 17, and 9 and 8, or 10 and 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Um,
probably see some really interesting, and there's the others. Not everything's going to be fixed over time with generations, but you see it in, on the one hand, you're like, oh my gosh, there's no hope for humanity. What world are we leaving for our kids and our grandkids? And then you see what our grandkids are doing. You're like, okay, they've got this. They're, you know, they're going to usher in a new era, and hopefully that era is slightly better than the last. And yeah, we just
I'm all for it.
progress is slow, unfortunately.
It is.
But
It is. Here's another idea from Timothy Snyder.
all right.
Um, I don't have the number written down here. I'll get the number for you. I like this one so much. It's actionable. I'm on a new budget. I'm much more constrained than I used to be. Um, but and I'm not currently giving money to anybody, but I think I'm going to start in a small way. It's this. Yeah, where are you? I'll find it. Where are you? Okay. Well, I can't find it. I can't find the number, but I know what it is. It says,
Okay.
give money to good causes.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
give money to good causes. And as I'm thinking about it now, now that I've stopped giving money to get good causes, and I'm
Hmm.
thinking about what do I do very, very strategically um, to give money to a good cause. Uh, it,
Yeah.
would- it would be an organization called, her name is Stacey Abrams. She lives down in Georgia. She ran for office and was defeated, but she
Yeah.
has an organization called Fair Fight. Do you know it?
Okay. I don't know the organization. I've heard of Stacey Abrams, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is about voting rights.
Mm.
There's a lot of things that need our money, like
Right.
environmental causes. But, just a small, for me, that would be where we're
Yeah.
at right now. voting rights seems like highly pivotal.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but for each person to look into their conscience and say, what is the impact I really want to do right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it can be anything. I mean, there's those which may contribute to a fairer resistance now and into the next election cycles, like you said, like
Hmm.
that. And then there's those that are personally impacting people. And yeah, I, I I think the last thing I donated to was actually some people who I have a sort of sense of community with that are colon cancer survivors, and they were doing something, and I gave money to colon cancer awareness and research, but
Beautiful.
um, and it was also they it was I started playing this cornhole league. And these people are the facilitators of it, and the gal who kind of organizes it all works her butt off.
You're
Um,
in a cornhole league.
yeah, yeah. Had to
Would
do
you go
something.
out and throw it on like Saturday mornings or something?
It's on Wednesday nights actually, and it's at an event space at a casino, hotel casino. Um, so
I'll
yeah,
think of you on
Wednesday night. I'm not very.
Wednesday.
I'm out of my league in the league I'm in, but it's still kind of fun and something to get me out there and
Moving
outside
around.
my comfort zone. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely out of my comfort zone. I practiced softball
Mm,
uh, last week or 2 weeks ago, and
yeah,
I'm going to go to another practice and maybe play, maybe not, depending about this new job I might get.
right.
But play softball. Haven't played in 40 years.
Oh my. I haven't played softball in a while. It sounds fun actually. Like, yeah.
Yeah, unless you're so rusty that you just stink, which is my situation.
Yeah. You might realize just how unwell that rotator cuff is.
Yeah, you got a rotator cuff, and I've got a shoulder problem,
Yeah.
which makes it unable for me to throw it very well.
I only notice it when I'm shooting hoops with my daughter. Bothers me a little bit, but I can only imagine if I start throwing a softball around or swinging a bat, I might notice it more. So, but but hey, I mean, as long as everybody's in the same boat, we're out there trying and
Yeah,
getting through it, then
having fun.
yeah. And and I will say this. Um, those are some. We're going to go back to this again before we wrap up for the day. This resiliency thing.
Yeah, yeah,
I when I'm on social media or anything like that, and I just see people I know, people I don't know that are so adversarial with one another and just bitter and angry and keyboard warriors, right? But those same people, you could be playing, in a cornhole league with 60 of them, or in a softball league with a dozen of people on the opposite side of America's viewpoints right now. But that's what it's all about is we are not just those things. We are people who go out and play softball and cornhole together and, you know, hold the door at the grocery store for each other, or I guess they're automatic doors, but doctor's office, whatever it may be. Um, that is who we really are. And I think it's important to do those things as much as I don't want to go insert myself in social situations where I have to deal with like, oh, this person's talking politics and I don't agree with it. Um, but it's also cool to be out there connecting with each other, even though we may be, you know, different sides of this of life right now. But
yeah.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. So I don't know where that falls in Timothy Snyder's book, which category, but continuing to be out there to engage in ways with people that humanizes each other and keeps that humanity at the forefront.
Yeah, that is in there. He does have that category of
Yeah,
uh, speak to people. Make eye contact. Don't
yeah,
just what the dictators down through history have all wanted is for us to cover up in our holes, our cubby
Yeah.
holes, and avoid making eye contact in a public square, and avoid getting to women. You wouldn't be here were it not for us. I love your daughter.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
got a comment when we were talking about the my daughter and her choice of argumentative essay topic for her English class. So yeah, thank you. Um, I love her too. Yeah. So well, we did touch a few of of Timothy Snyder's topics, and I know we want to continue this, but I think it's important. I think we have a cadence of discussion. I think resiliency is going to be a constant in our lives, and a topic that we all need to work on, and just making a safe place for us to to communicate and to share with others, to embrace dialogue too. So
Here's the ultimate comment on the whole subject.
that's right. When you start to feel doom and despair, just take a cat day.
Right.
Take a cat day.
Take a nap through it. Take a cat day. Take a nap.
Yeah,
Right.
I love it. Well,
All
thank you.
right. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah, thank you everybody who tuned in today. Thank you for following us and watching afterward. Like, subscribe, catch more of us. We do this every 2 weeks, and we will see you next time. Be kind, everybody.
Be kind.